Longfellow was a 19th century American poet. When he was young, he was never really into sports and had loved literature at an early age. He was always inspired by the small things around him, such as hearing of love and war stories from his parents, or writing about the emotions he felt from a death of a loved one, especially as he got older. The day is cold and dark and dreary. It rains, and the wind is never weary. The vine still clings to the moldering wall, but at every gust the dead leaves fall, and the day is dark and dreary. My life is cold and dark and dreary. It rains, and the wind is never weary. My thoughts still cling to the moldering past, but the hopes of youth fall thick in the blast, and the days are dark and dreary. Be still, sad heart, and cease repining. Behind the clouds is the sun still shining. Thy fate is the common fate of all. Into each life some rain must fall. Some days must be dark and dreary. Longfellow writes The Rainy Day, reflecting on his lost youth, and with that, the death of his true love and kid. He talks about how everyone has these depressing days, or sorrowful moments in their life, when they don't know what to do, when the rain never seems to stop and everything is gloomy. But he also tries to teach us that behind these struggles, that there's hope, that after the rain, the sun will come out in the clouds and you'll be happy once again. The tone of the poem is gloomy and dark, but at the end it turns to hopeful. This because Longfellow realizes that everyone has to have these kinds of days and learn to move on. I connected with this poem in particular because it made me reflect on times when I was depressed and alone. I would think about getting older or never having fun again. I would also think about the loved ones I had lost or would soon lose. I also connected with this poem because it reminded me that, like Longfellow, you have to learn to change the pessimism you feel into optimism. Line 14 says, "Into each life some rain must fall." This reminds us that everyone has these days and that you know you aren't alone. That is an important part of life you must learn to deal with. Without these hard days, you would take for granted the good days you have and the sunshine that is still there behind all the clouds. The poem also makes me realize how blessed I am because there are thousands of others struggling much more than myself. Like every poet, there are certain techniques Longfellow used to create the rainy day. Longfellow's main literary devices used in The Rainy Day are tone and imagery. The tone starts dark and gloomy, but finishes hopeful. This directly conveys his meaning of the poem. The word choice wasn't super complex, but the diction he used made a detailed image for the reader to imagine.